So once again, good morning. As far as I know, our first topic for today is about production system. So of course, okay, when we say production system, any of the methods used in the industry to create goods and services from various resources. So of course, all production system, when viewed at the most abstract level, might be said to be transformation processes. Now, same with technology. Before we just simply say IT, no? But at present, we are now using the word transformation technology or transformation when it comes to technology. Processes that transform resources into useful goods and services, no? Maybe later on our presenter discuss the transformation process typically uses common resources, and maybe each and everyone are familiar that when we say transformational process, the common resources as labors, capital of course for machinery, equipment, and materials, and space, no, like lands or building and others. So to effect a change. So economists call these resources the factors of production and usually refer to them as labor, capital, and land. No, production managers have referred to them as the 5M. What will be the 5M if you still remember? Men, machines, methods, materials, and money. So when viewed as a process, a production system may be further characterized by flows, no, channels of movement. So in the process, simply from stages of manufacture, no, yung work in process, and a finished goods, and the flow of information and the inevitable paperwork that carry and accompany the physical flow. So the physical flows are subject to the constraint of the capacity of the production system, which also limits the system ability to meet output expectations. Similarly, the capacity of the information handling channel of the production system may also be important measure of a system's output. No, the management of information flows or the planning and control of the system to achieve acceptable outputs is an important task of the production manager. Okay? So, well, the capacity of the system is the major factor in determining whether output expectation can be met. The additional considerations of quality, of course, must also be seen in a limiting factor. The quality of product measured against some objective standard includes appearance, performance characteristics, durability, of course, no, serviceability, and other physical characteristics. Timeliness of delivery cost, as I mentioned last meeting, no? Timeliness of delivery, cost, appropriateness and documentation, and supporting materials and so on. It is an important part of the definition of a production system. Okay, so for us, how about the presenter?
Good morning, Doc. Good morning, classmates. Okay. Our topic for today is production system. So what is production? It is a process by which goods and services are created according to Mr. Edward Puffa. Production, it takes inputs and uses them to create an output which is fit for consumption. So what is that consumption? Goods or product which has value to an end user or customer. For production system, the production system of an organization is the part which produces products of an organization. So kapag sinabi po nating production system, this is the activity hereby resources flowing within a defined system are combined and transformed in a controlled manner to add value in accordance with the policies communicated by management. Production system has the following characteristics. Production is an organized activity, so every production system has an objective. The system transforms the various inputs to useful outputs. It does not operate in isolation from the other organization system, and there exists a feedback about the activities which is essential to control and improve system performance. Sa madaling sabi po, pag sinabi natin production system, it has three parts: the input, transformation process, and output. Ang sa input po, we have the men, materials, machine capital, and information. From that inputs, it will undergo process such as product design, process planning, production control, and maintenance. After that process, it will create an output, which are goods and services. So ito lang po yung classification of production system. We have 4 classifications: continuous production, mass production, batch production, and job shop production. So yung apat po na classification ng system, it is categorized then into 2. The first one is intermittent production. It is a system where different kinds of products are produced on a small scale by using general purpose machines which are flexible in nature. Under intermittent production system, we have job shop and batch production. The other one naman po, the flow or continuous production system, it is a system where same kind of a product is produced on a large scale by using special purpose automatic machines. The product is of standard quality. Under the flow production system, we have the mass production and process production. So dito lang po, yung difference niya, for the intermittent, meron silang kini-create na different kind of products, pero small scale lang po. Maliliit lang yung output. Unlike sa continuous or flow production, same kind ng product, pero mas marami po. Malaki po yung output or large scale yung kanilang product na napoproduce. We also have production management. It is a process of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the activities of a production function. It deals with the decision-making related to the production process so that the resulting goods or services are produced according to the specifications in the amount and by the schedule demanded and out of minimum cost. We have 4 objectives for the production management. We should have the right quality, right quantity, right time, and right manufacturing cost. Para po makita natin if yung atin bang output or yung atin bang system ay nakakatulong po sa atin, we also have the productivity formula. So productivity, it is the relationship between output, which is the produced goods, to the input, which are the consumed resources in the manufacturing transformation process. The formula po is P equals to O over I, meaning productivity is measured by the output over input. Productivity formula, it is a measure of the productivity of an economy, organization, team, or employee. In the context of a company, it provides a useful indication of how efficiently a company converts raw materials, machines, and group of employees into useful goods or services. So ayan po, nakikita naman po natin yung productivity formula. Nasa taas po yung output, which is ano yung na-produce natin, over nasa ilalim naman po yung input, ano po yung mga nilagay natin para ma-create naman yung output. So we have benefits derived from higher productivity. It helps to cut down cost per unit and thereby improve the profits. Consumers in form of lower priced products or better quality products. These gains can also be shared with workers or employees by paying them at a higher rate. A more productive entrepreneur can have better chances to exploit expert opportunities. It will generate more employment opportunity, and overall productivity reflects the efficiency of production system. More output is produced with same or less input, and the same output is produced with lesser input. So, ayan po, ulit. More output is produced with more input, and the proportional increase in output being more than the proportional increase in input. So we have 3 types of productivity measurement: the single factor productivity, multi-factor productivity, and total factor productivity measurement. For the first one, single factor productivity, it is a measure of output against a specific input. Yung single factor po, it is also known as the partial productivity because it is concerned with efficiency of one class of output. As an example po, so we have a manager may want to calculate the productivity of the employees of his company. So dito po sa example, we have 2 employees. Si Tom, he made sales worth 20,000 in a week of 50 hours worth of work. While the other employee naman po, si Jill, worked for 20 hours a week and made 10,000 worth of sales. Para ma-measure po natin yung productivity nila, the output is 20,000 for Tom. I-divide po natin doon sa input niya, which is the 50 hours. So, ang mangyayari po, productivity niya is 400 pesos per hour. While Jill's productivity naman po, ang kanyang output is 10,000. I-divide natin sa input, which is 20 hours. Ang kanya pong magiging productivity ay 500 per hour. So dito po, Jill is more productive than Tom, even though Jill generated less sales than Tom. So we also have another example for the single factor productivity. Consider a heavily automated production line with a small number of staff. If in a month, the production line produces $1 million worth of goods with 1,000 total hours work, then the company productivity is, so balikan po natin, the output is 1 million, i-divide po natin sa input, which is 1,000 hours. Ang productivity ng company po is 1,000 per hour. So even though the labor cost is much smaller than the cost of equipment, a company that invests in the efficient use of technology will gain a competitive advantage and improve company productivity. The next classification is the multi-factor productivity measurement. It is measured by comparing output to various inputs necessary for production. So it is a ratio of output to a group of inputs such as labor, energy, and material. Dito po sa multi-factor, mas marami po yung ating ilalagay na inputs. Unlike sa nauna, sa single factor, iisa lang po yung ating mini-measure. Productivity. So so 2,000 divided by 1,000, ang kanila pong productivity is 2 pieces of pen per peso. The last one naman po, total factor productivity. It indicates the combined effect of all the inputs in generating output. So the TFP is equals to net output over labor plus capital, which is the input. Para po mas maunawaan natin, as an example, to produce 300 units of a product, per unit material cost is 6 pesos. The selling price of the product is 10 pesos for each unit. The required labor hours are 40 hours and at the rate of 12 pesos for an hour. So the total productivity will be calculated as, unahin po natin, which is the net output, 300 units times 10 pesos per unit. Sa ilalim naman po nun, yung atin pong mga inputs, 300 units, kapag 300 units times 6 pesos per unit, open and close parentheses, plus, ito po, 400 hours, magiging productivity po nila is 1.32. Yun lamang po.
Okay, thank you. So again, as I mentioned earlier, there are some important considerations in production system, no? Once the general specification of a production system had been agreed upon, no, including precise definition of needed resources and output expectation, the three important decisions remain, no? First, no, industrial engineers, production managers, and other specialists must choose and design the technology to be used, no? Their decisions must include the choice of equipment and tooling. So the layout of plant, space and facilities, the selection of workers and work procedures, no, and many other aspects of process design. So these choices must be handled carefully, no. Mistakes at this early stage can result in a business losing its competitiveness or the ability to sustain a profitability position in the market. Given a choice of technology, no, the capacity of the system must be determined. The capacity of the system is designed to be a function of amount of available capital, the demand forecast for the output of the facility, and many of other minor factors. No? So again, these decisions must be made wisely. Establishing too much capacity too soon can burden a company with excess cost and inefficient operations. Too little capacity can make it difficult and expensive to increase output later if the market develop rapidly. And this can place a company at a significant cost disadvantage if other competitors with larger facilities produce a product at a lower cost or with more consistent quality. So given a basic commitment to capacity, decision must be made on the adaptability of the production volume to meet the inevitable changes in market demand, no, that the firm will experience. In some other sense, capacity most production system is adjusted by hiring or firing workers. So by scheduling overtime, cutting off on work hours, by adding or shutting down machines, or whole department or areas of the facility, or by changing the rate of productions within reasonable limits. No, the effectiveness of course, okay, the effectiveness of any of this adjustment mechanism depends largely on the technological constraint of the process itself, the economics of the industry, and the nature of the competition. So actually, in some industries, now adjustment of capacity is a very difficult task. Assembly lines with specialized equipment, for example, are more efficient when run at one speed and cannot be slowed down or run intermittently without severe economic losses. So in such cases, careful attention of the fundamental design of the production system is a critical factor in the overall success of a business.